Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I am finally getting to making the 4-star crafting video. So the rotation, all that good stuff, and all that blah blah blah. So as usual, we'll go through the gear and what we need. So we'll go through this. So for any 4-star recipe, we will need 995 craftsmanship and 955 control, which seems really high, but in all honesty it's not that high. Now as usual, I do tend to max meld all of my gear, at least for crafting anyways, and if you followed my other crafting videos, I kind of left the main hand and offhand untouched, unmelded. I just let them alone because they have really high cap for craftsmanship and control, and I didn't want to meld them if I didn't know what the minimum requirement was for 4-star. So that's kind of what I did. So my craftsmanship's sitting at 1015 and 955, and I did meld them. It turns out I was only a little bit off on control, so there we are. I just melded the 13 control. I was 13 control off, which is not bad. I will probably have to make another one later on if we somehow get 5-star crafting things, or if we get another 4-star with a higher cap, which is possible with the ornate crafting gear that is in the Wondrous Trials. If you don't know what that is, we'll look it up real quick. Let's see. Ornate. Alright, so it's gathering. See, where is it? Crafting. So, as you can see, the ornate crafting stuff is pretty much the same. So we'll compare it. It's actually not as good, technically, at least in base stats. But what is good is it has 5 slots of guaranteed melding, which for the apron is actually the best possible thing, because for the apron, and I'm not sure if they have the main hands off hands, but I'm sure they'll add them in later on in the next couple of minor patches. They have a really high craftsmanship and control cap, which can only be achieved with melding 5 grade 5 materials into them. So obviously no one's gonna do that, because melding a grade 5 into a 5% overmeld slot is just not fun. Okay, so at some point maybe that'll happen. As far as we know, there's no more crafting gear coming out. And I believe this is pretty much where we're at. Like I said though, they could add some stuff later on depending on how many people get that ornate gear, or if they make it available some other way. Kind of like they did with 2.0 with Talon. Getting that crafter gear was super hard at first. Maybe they'll do that, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems that it's going to be all RNG during Wondrous Trials, and that's the only thing I can think of. Anyways, so back to this. As long as we have the requirements, craftsmanship and control, which is the 995 and 955, we can make any 4-star. Now, it doesn't matter what it is. I may be a little bit over on craftsmanship, but as you can see, I hit control exactly. And this also goes for any 4-star. So any of the Start Velvet, anything, any 4-star, doesn't matter what it is. It's all the same. So if you're scared of making, the Start Velvet habitation of a healing or whatever it is, don't worry about it, because it's the same. It may take more mats, and it might be a little annoying to get them all high quality, but it's still the same. Okay, so today I'm gonna go over and make a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna make some alchemist stuff, some weaver stuff, and some leatherworker stuff, just to show you guys that the rotation works. Keep in mind that I do use a lot of high quality items as much as I can, because this rotation is very RNG. And keeping with that is endgame crafting. RNG is everywhere in endgame crafting. Don't let people tell you that simply because I use high quality items that the rotation sucks, because it works. I make things with it, and that's the point. It's not about getting it at 0 to 100. It's about making it in general, right? So, high quality items reduce RNG by as much as you can, you know? So if you can do that, do it. Don't let people stop you. Moving on. Okay, so I do have some zeolite ore. I'm going to use all of it. Some blue cloud coral. And I have covered the gloaming coral and the blue cloud coral in videos before. So if you don't know where to get them, look them up on my channel. Globinol we'll cover in another video, as well as zeolite ore. Just a quick rundown. Globinol is from lore. Zeolite is from endgame gathering. Just a quick overcap. If you want to learn more about them, go check out those little videos. Alright, enough talking. So we're gonna use, as usual, baked onion soup, because I already passed the requirements and I just want the big boost in CP. Alright, so with food, I have 467 CP, which could be a little higher if I melded my main hand offhand correctly. But trying to be, first making money, you just go as fast as you can. Anyways, you only need about 450 for this rotation, but the more you have, the better chances you get of completing it high quality. So CP is your friend. Alright, let's get this thing started. So I'm going to break this up into 3 phases, kind of like how I did the Ironworks gear in the last patch, and how I did the Icon gear in the patch before. So let's get this started. First phase. So as always, if you're not using Goldsmith, you're going to be using muscle memory. After muscle memory, you're going to be using comfort zone and inner quiet. Right after inner quiet, you want to use steady hand 2. And if you get a good here like I did, and depending on how comfortable you feel with what you're making, you can either hit the precise touch, or you can hit the tricks of the trade. Now, if you don't feel comfortable at all, you can skip it. As long as you have the 450 CP, it can complete the rotation, but like I said earlier, the more CP, the higher chances of high quality. So, well, I feel pretty comfortable. So, since I've been making this gear, all this 4-star stuff for a while now, and I will do a precise touch. Now, the only drawback to that is that the next couple moves have to land. So, after you do a steady hand 2, you should be doing ingenuity 2, if you don't get it good. Now, I have 3 moves left, and with those 3 moves, rapid synthesis has to land 3 times. So let's do the rapid synthesis 3 times. Got 1, 2, 3. So that worked out for me. If it doesn't work out for you, reclaim, try again. That's the best way I can do it. I know for Goldsmith, Maker's Mark does work very well, but for me, it takes way too long. That's just my way of, it's way too many steps. But once you get to this step, you are 1 move away from completing the craft, correct? And if also, another thing, if you get a good here like I did, take tricks of the trade. No matter what, doesn't matter, just take it. And then you're gonna do 1 hasty touch. Now, if it lands, it lands. If it doesn't land, it doesn't land. 50-50. It's not a big deal, but ideally, this is what you should have. So right now, I have the perfect rotation going on. I have 4 stacks of inner quiet. I got 1 tricks of the trade, and I use all of my comfort zone in the first phase. Now, the second phase is much simpler. So this is the beginning of the second phase. Begins with Master's Men 2, Comfort Zone, Steady Hand 2, and then waste not to, and hasty touch spam. So after this, it basically becomes the same rotation as the Ironworks gear, with the only footnote that you need just about all the stacks you can get. So the more stacks you get, the better it is. I can say that for any craft, but especially this one, since it has 1300 points in quality. It's a lot of quality. Alright, so we've come to an impasse. So this is the starting of part 3. In part 3, we have to be very careful because now it's CP management versus high quality. And it all depends on how much CP you have at this point. So I have 100 CP and I have a good. Again, if you feel comfortable, you can do precise touch. If you don't, use tricks of the trade. If you don't feel comfortable using any of those, just ignore those and then go straight for steady hand 2. Now, I have 100 CP and I feel pretty lucky, so I'm gonna go and do the precise touch. Yeah, there it is. Now I have 10 stacks, so now I'm gonna move on to steady hand 2. Got another good. See, now this is what gets a little interesting because you need about 56 CP to do the rotation. Not the full rotation, but just enough to do Great Strides and Burgott's Blessing. Now, if you have over 79 CP, you can do a steady hand, a Great Strides, and a Burgott's Blessing, which is kind of what we might do depending on the next one. So I have 10 stacks, so I can actually just ignore this one because I don't need it anymore after 11. You can't get any more after 11. So I'm just gonna keep going. Hasty spam touch. Okay, so at this point, I need 3,000 points of quality to finish the craft. So, like I said, this is pretty much as perfect as any rotation can get. So if you don't get this, don't worry. I'll do another one. I'll do a couple more. That way we understand more of the rotation. Okay, so I'm going to do Great Strides, and then finish it off with Burgott's Blessing. Okay, and then one careful synthesis will complete the craft. Alright, so like I said, that was probably as good as the rotation will ever get. It does guarantee 100% if that happens to you. Pretty much, almost all the time. If you're going off a 0% quality, it'll be a little difficult. It'll probably get you to 85%, depending on the goods and how many precise touches you do. In this 4-star stuff, it's all about stacks. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with your stats at all. It's all about CP, how many inner quiets you get, and how many touches you land. It's unfortunate, but it's just kind of the way it is. Alright, so we're going to move on to Weaver. And then my Weaver is pretty much the same. Has a little bit more control, has 3 more points in control, but that's because I had a control 7 laying around. That's pretty much it. There's not a big difference. We're gonna be making some start velvets, and this will be from 0%, so you'll be able to see that part. So I don't guarantee 100% quality in these, but I do. As you can see, if you have some high quality mats to start off with, it can happen. So bear with me. We're gonna be doing the same thing. So this is phase 1, muscle memory. We got a good. I'm gonna take it because there's no reason not to. Okay, comfort zone. And quiet. So in the beginning, when you're doing, muscle memory, in a comfort zone and in a quiet, if you get goods, just take them because there's no reason not to. You're not losing anything. You're just getting more CP back. Okay, after that, we're gonna do steady hand 2, and then ingenuity 2. And then rapid synthesis. So these 3 have to land. I have an excellent. Now if you get an excellent, and my rule of thumb is always take the excellent, so I'm going to do that. Now we're going to continue on with rapid synthesis. Ooh, got very lucky. Alright, so we have now another good, which we're gonna take tricks of the trade with. And we're gonna finish it off with a hasty touch. It broke, no worries. I got another good. I'm getting a lot of good RNG right now. Just take tricks of the trade. Okay, we have 10. We're gonna move on to the second phase, which is Mastersman 2. And then Comfort Zone. Steady Hand 2. Waste Not 2. And Hasty Touch Spam. I'm gonna take that good. As you can see, I'm taking as many precise touches as I can whenever I have a Steady Hand 2 up. Now, every time I don't have a Steady Hand 2, I don't take precise touches because it has a 70% chance of landing. And although it does say 70%, we all know that it never means 70%. It's like 10%. Anyways, Steady Hand, Hasty Touch Spam. Got 7 stacks. Life is good. Steady Hand 2. Hasty Touch Spam. Ooh, 1 broke. Alright, so we want to get about 15% in quality before we finish the craft. That actually helps you. That helps a lot with the quality you're going to gain. Okay, so we have 10 stacks, we have 1 Steady Hand 2 up, we have 116 CP. What shall we do? We have 11% high quality. What we're going to have to do is do Innovative Touch. And that's because it gives us innovation, and that doubles our control rating for 3 steps. So this has a 40% chance of landing, I believe. So even with Steady Hand 2, it's still pretty RNG. So I'm gonna do it because it's basically one of the only ways I can make myself, you know, feel better. And if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. It's one of those things. Okay, so we're gonna finish the rotation, and we can pray for good. So do Steady Hand 2, Great Strides, and then finish it with a Burgot's Blessing. It's gonna be about 60%, I believe. Oh, even less, 42%. So not having that 11th, that last stack of Inner Quiet really does matter a lot. All right, it's 42%. Like I said, it's just that the way it is. I can't even say it, you know, like that's just the way it is. Now, and as I showed you before, over here I had a couple. I didn't have everything high quality. I just had a couple things, and then so we'll go to Leatherworker, and then I'll try out the leather. There it is. And I will use 1 high quality item. So we'll use the leather. See if you can find some high quality leather. There it is. Oh, I just need to hide. My fault. There it is. So I only have 1 high quality matte to start off with. So starting off with 2000 quality actually is very, very nice. Now you don't have to have it all, like I said earlier, but just reduce RNG. As you can see, that RNG in the last one with the Start Velvet really, really hampered the progress and the progress and the quality we had. And then, like I said, there's nothing we can do about it. It's all RNG, and the best you can do to stop it is have as many high quality items as you can. Especially if you're new to crafting, don't be scared about it. Like I fail them all the time, and as usual, these are just mats, you know. Once you come over here, you have, you know, really easy stuff that will put up the quality higher if you're trying to make some of the gear. So don't be scared, don't worry about it. As long as you have about 10% quality starting off, you should be fine. Alright, so we're gonna make some leathers. Starting off with 2300 quality. And then, to put it in perspective, we start off over here with about 4000 quality with the grade 3 mine dissolvents. We started off with 0% in the Start Velvet, and now we're gonna do the hemiclown leather with 2000. So it kind of shows you a little bit of everything. All right, let's do it. All right, so muscle memory, comfort zone, inner quiet, steady hand 2. All right, so we have a good right here. At 5% quality, I'm gonna take it because I feel comfortable doing that. As I've mentioned multiple times, if you don't feel comfortable taking the precise touch, you can also take tricks of the trade or nothing at all. It's okay. I'm gonna take precise touch. Then I'm gonna take Ingenuity 2, and then do 3 rapid synthesis. 1 failed. So if 2 out of 4 fail, restart it. Just reclaim, try again. So I'm gonna do it again, 50-50 chance. It failed. Alright, so we're gonna reclaim and just try again. The reason we're doing this is because, as you saw with the Star Velvet, we need as many stacks, as much gaining quality as possible. And by doing this opener for progress, gives us the most progress for the least amount of steps without using Maker's Mark. Now, you want to say Maker's Mark is safer, and it might be. It totally might be safer. But with this one, it's faster. It's faster. So it's more efficient. You can make more things faster, you know? Alright. So we did muscle memory. We're gonna move on to comfort zone again. Inner quiet. Steady hand 2. Ingenuity 2. And rapid synthesis 3 times. You want 3 to land. I have an excellent, and I have 1 left. I'm gonna go for it. Rule of thumb: excellence, always get in. If you can do an excellent, do the excellent. Alright. Rapid synthesis. Land, land, land. We're in business. Alright, so we have 1 step left. Hasty touch. Perfect. So moving on to the second phase, do Master's Men 2. And then we still have a comfort zone, so we're gonna do steady hand first, and then we're gonna do comfort zone, and then waistline 2. And then hasty touch spam. Alright, this is more of a normal crafting, like this is what normally happens when I craft this stuff. I have a lot of misses, a lot of really random excellence. So if this happens to you, you're worth everybody. This is normal. This is very normal. So we have 6 stacks. Oh god. Okay, so I'm gonna take this precise touch. That will take a couple of those misses off. The only bad thing about it is that I won't be able to use a steady hand. So if you're in this step, if you're in this situation, you can do one of 2 things. The first one being just do a hasty touch and hope it lands. It's a 50-50 shot. The next thing you can do, which is more risky, is do an innovative touch, which is just 40% chance. And if that lands, you're very lucky. I'm gonna do that because I can. I have enough CP for it. It landed. All right. So now this is where the real nervousness sets in for me. So we gotta do Great Strides and then the Burgott's Blessing. A good Burgott's Blessing. Oh my god. Okay. So if you get this and you don't have steady hand 2 up, don't do Burgott's Brow. It won't land. I swear to god, it won't land. Burgott's Blessing is 90% chance. It's safer, and it'll still give you a massive bonus. So let's do that. There it is. Woo, 100%. Now I got very lucky there, but that's a situation that does come up often in these crafts. So I'm gonna finish it with the Careful Synthesis 2. Now, as you guys saw, I made one of all my specialist stuff. So I made the leather, I made a Star Velvet, and I made some potions. And I try to do them in different ways. Not different ways, but in different quality start off quality differently because I wanted to show you guys that the RNG in this rotation is pretty intense. It's very difficult to 0 100 quality this stuff because of the 1300, actually the 13,000, my fault, 13,000 quality we have to do. Unless you get very lucky like I did in the last craft, you'll probably get to the high 50s, high 60s. So if you can get all those high quality items as best you can. The easiest way I recommend doing that is by getting all the lore mats, like the globe and all, and the invisible ink, and the Hamikong hides. You can get those high quality, and as you can see, having that 5%, 10% helps so much later on. Alright guys, well that's the best I can do to explain what I do to craft 4-star. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully this is as in-depth as it can be and shows you that it can be made and you don't have to have crazy stats. Like I said, I don't have crazy stats either. I'm 100 points over in craftsmanship and I pretty much hit control exactly or a point or two over. And as usual, CP is your friend. Always go for CP. Alright guys, well I hope this helps you guys out and I hope you guys make some gear and with that make some gil in return. And as usual, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.